Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Gray Man Prepping. It is time for Tactical Tuesday, where we'll be talking tactics, gear, and more. And tonight's topic is dun, da, 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 can you survive 3 months without power? How's everybody doing out there? And yes, the city's blacked out. They got no power. How are you going to survive? All right, let me change this up here. Go to comments and make sure I said hi to everybody. So first one in was Lee Argent, then CR, then Diana 2, then Utah Mike, then SD Mountain Man, Aiden Ayers here. Okay, I think everyone's chatting, so I think I got everybody. And welcome. So that is the zinger I have coming up here. And Tammy's here, Rebel Canners. Tell you what I'm going to do here. CR, I'm going to drop you and Tammy the link here if you guys want to come up. And that way you can give live feedback quicker than typing. Dave Knight is here as well. And Angels Homestead rolled in. All right. Okay, so tonight's premise has 4 parts. Each part has 2 variables. Hope that makes sense. And and actually, I kind of hinted a little bit about this on last night's live with Tammy and Mark. We were talking about canning pre-cooked meals in a jar. And so let me bring something up here. We're going to go on and bring this thing here back up. And go to the next slide here. So the first one, the most moderate one, and this has 2 parts. The power is out in your neighborhood for 3 months. Can you survive? Now, just not everybody's going to say, yeah, I can survive. Now I'm going to throw some ground rules at you. Which season is it? Winter, spring, summer, fall? Each one of those has a whole different perspective on this. So I want you to do self-evaluation on this. Because like it says going across the bottom, I want to make sure that you guys are prepared so you're not coming after my stuff. All right. So in your neighborhood, some possibilities. It could be the substation for your neighborhood has been taken out. And there's 50 little blocks that are black. Can you survive? You can survive if you have, you can survive in the summer because, I know some of the people, the millennials and youngers are going to go, I don't have any air conditioning. I can't survive. Hey, I grew up, no air conditioning. Absolutely zero zip, none, boom. So, Aiden here. Yeah. So I grew up when the sun started going down, it started cooling off outside. As soon as it got cooler outside and it was inside, all the windows came open. Diana 2 froze. I would leave my little area. Yeah. Neighborhood outage is the hotel not far away. Mountain survival. Another one from Utah. Woohoo! Oh, doing a night ruck in full kit, 35 pounds. Excellent. Yeah, winter would be tough here too, except I do have the wood stove to keep the house warm. And I do have the power station, but I'd be scrambling to get the solar panels up and temporarily put up until I, because my wife still hasn't decided where she wants to let me put solar panels up at. We definitely know we don't want to put them on the roof because we can't clean the snow off. And Wendy at Hardnack Farms is here. All right. Checked off is here as well. So in your neighborhood, the probably going to be, if you have alternative source, whether it's a Mr. Buddy heater, propane heater, a wood burning stove, a fireplace, some way to keep the house warm. And Caitlin Strain came in. So your biggest problem is going to be your refrigerator freezer, whether it's one unit or whether it's a chest freezer or upright freezer in your refrigerator. That's going to be most people's biggest problem for all scenarios, unless you are like Lee at Cold War Prepper and you got your whole house on solar already. All right, so no, because generally for this one, no, because generally the pressure pumps are not in your neighborhood. They're elsewhere in the city. And generally saying the natural gas pumping stations have natural gas powered generators, so they can, if they lose power, that kicks on automatically and keeps the gas pressure up anyways. So at least I know it does with Pacific Gas and Electric. The winter I got covered. Now with me, right now I got a gas furnace just installed, so I'm not using the wood burning stove hardly at all. If I want to keep the natural gas going, I'm going to have to get that solar power in really quick and then run a extension cord to the furnace and do a little wiring and plug it in. So for other than losing your power to your refrigerator and freezer and possibly your furnace, most people aren't going to have a problem with 3 months. Martha, old school prepper, a couple years back, it wasn't quite winter. I think it was still late. It was late fall. They had a power outage for 35 days, I think it was. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. And so she had, for her well, she had, electric pump, and then she had a hand pump alongside of it so she could go out there and pump water to get water in. For me, as far as water goes, I got a couple 300 and I changed around to 300s and out in the garden. I got a couple 275 gallon water storage IBC tote set up. So water, I got water. The city has 3 wells and generators at all 3 wells. Yeah. No, in your neighborhood. I don't get gas in my neighborhood. I don't get gas in the city across the railroad tracks, and I don't get gas in the city up the way. I go all the way to Idaho Falls, where it's a lot cheaper, and I get it either at Costco or Sam's Club. Cool. Yeah, I got the parts to do it changed up, but I'm just, I'm lazy on it because, hey, I got the wood burning stove and I got 32 cords of firewood sitting outside. And for the first several years here, I heated it off the wood burning stove. So, but yeah, I need to get off the stick on that one because yeah, that's so far down on the priority list because I got so many other things covering it. Now, here's the other thing that's going to impact a lot of people: lights. How many people have alternate light sources? Now, I've done videos on the little light walkway lights I got from Sam's Club, where I was getting a 5-pack for $9.99, regularly $19.99. We went on sale for $9.99. Okay, I'll buy a couple more of these. And so I got like 30 or so of the solar rechargeable walkway lights, and they last. I changed the batteries out, put better rechargeable batteries in it, and so it stays charged all the way to morning. Tammy, which one's more expensive? Your town or the next town? I have a feeling the next town is cheaper. Yeah, like it's going to be more. You got to figure out for you. It's going to be more different in a cold winter or hot summer. Like I said, I don't have air conditioning for this house. Don't have it at all in this house. All I do is when it gets cooler outside, just like in the childhood, cooler outside than it's inside, the windows come open. The only thing I do is I got in two of the windows, I got the big square fans from Wally World, and I put those up and turn it on, and that just helps circulate the air a little bit quicker. But hey, I can just open up a couple more windows if I need to, and it'll take a little bit longer to cool down. And of course, this since I got that power station, the double fans I have in the one window are plugged into it. 75 watts on high. Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. I mean, yeah, I got a river close by, but it's a Snake River, and we're not on the river, and it flows slow. But Scott Palmer at Hidden Valley Homestead up in the right about here in Idaho. This is the state of Idaho. Right up there has a year-round stream on his place. Even when everything starts freezing over, that stream is still flowing. But he just hasn't, he's got enough solar. He just, hasn't had to put a generator in that stream yet. Oh, let's see. Someone, there was a comment up there I forgot to comment on. Where was that one about the heat pump? Oh, I can't find it now. There it is, Dave Knight. The pump on the in-floor heating only draws about 75 watts. Yeah, with that one, if you have one of those exercise bike generators that you can generate it, and you got some ion lithium batteries, you can charge those up because that pump's not going all the time for the floor. It's only going part of the time. And then you just, run it for a little bit, warms the floor up, wait a couple hours, put the kids on it, make them pedal or pedal it yourself. All right, so for your neighborhood, it's just your neighborhood, and you don't have grid power. The other tweak on this is your neighborhood, and for some reason, no power is working in your neighborhood. Not your solar, nothing, but 10 miles away, that town has power. So that's sometimes things go a little wonky and things like that. So let's go look at the next one here. Your county. It's a bigger area now. Now it's your county. Your entire county is without power. Now, granted, I know people are going to say, well, our hospital has backup generators. Yeah, backup generators will last so long, but that's only a hospital. Some big box stores do have generators to power. If they're in an area where power is always going out, they will get they'll install a generator and a fuel tank, and then to keep everything refrigerated and cold in the freezer and refrigeration section, and keep the lights on. They'll do that. But yeah, like Utah Mike says, same answers. Yeah. And the thing is, for us, once I go 4 miles up the road, I'm out of my county. I'm out of Bingham County, and I'm into Bonneville County, where Idaho Falls is. So, yeah, for me, it'll be probably the same thing. Same answers here, just a little bit expanded area. For some people, they got to travel a little bit farther for gasoline. They've, different things and stuff. So, well, there we go. If the county's out, got a problem, my county's over 1 million plus. Yeah. And that's where things start getting a little scary. It's like, okay, am I going to be making trips outside the county to get stuff like milk or whatever? Probably, because that's where I go anyways. But is everybody else going to be heading out of the county? Well, since we're in the northern part of the county, some of the people just go up here to Brolams, which is still in the county. Others go up, like my daughter stuff. She goes up to Winco. I go either Winco or Sam's Club to get the milk. I usually get 2 gallons at a time, and it's usually good for over 2 weeks. Sometimes the expiration date, best use by date, is 3 weeks out. But I'll go up there and I'll get it depending on which day it is as far as the best use by date. But that's one thing. Now, one of the things I want to do. Do you leave your belongings if the county is out? If the county's out, depending on what's going on and how crazy it's getting, how fast, that also means school's out, so the grandsons are going to be home. I do have a tri-fuel generator, and I got it when I was living across the street. I got it plumbed over there, so I could hook up the natural gas generator to the natural gas over there and run it into the house. Probably the first thing I would be doing is swinging by Costco and getting another tri-fuel generator, a little bit smaller one. I'll take the big one across the street to run the house across the street on limited time and make sure my daughter knows you can only run it for 1 hour, or rather 1/2 hour every 5 to 6 hours. So depending on how often you got to open and close that refrigerator, you want to limit the time. All you're doing is running. It's just to cool the refrigerator down, run the furnace for a 1/2 hour, crank it up so it heats the house up, and then give the generator a rest. And I'd be doing the same if I get a smaller tri-fuel generator. I'll do the same thing to charge up my my power bank here. That's an option too. Let's see here, 90 gallons of water. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, see, how am I going to buy a generator? Oh, this is the county. Costco's in another county. Costco is 45 minutes away in another county. Or I can go south 60 minutes to the Costco in Pocatello. That's 2 counties away. So, yeah, this is just my county right now. Number 2, my county. And if it's just the grid, there are several people here that have solar. So I know they're going to be okay, but I ain't going to bug them because I know everybody else is going to be bugging them. Well, with my little town, for my little town, I don't expect everybody else to have the same situation. Basalt's 1/4 mile square. My daughter goes to the range, every couple of months with her husband, does the pistols, does the rifles, and she, doesn't like shooting the shotgun, but because it kicks so bad because it's 12 gauge, they haven't gotten a 20 gauge for her. Howie's here, Food Forest Permaculture. And so right now, my wife's still in California. Hopefully she'll be here Saturday for a couple weeks. But if she was here, I would have no problems leaving a staff sergeant here with the Mini 14 with the laser on it and the 20 power scope. I pity the fool. Let's see, but yeah, so you got a bushcraft family. Woohoo! Yeah. All right, before I go to the next one, there's something else I want to point out here. One of the things that I'm trying to get the wife to buy into, and that's to take everything in the freezer that we can, of course, not all of it can be done, and process it into canning jars. So we are, it's shelf stable. I don't have the hamburger. This is taco meat, so it can be used for a lot of things. This is a hamburger and baked beans. Meal in a jar. Shady Hill Homestead's here. Welcome. So for for a long period of time, you can save money by canning it, and that way, you're not having to use so many chest freezers. Like we got 3 chest freezers here. My daughter has 2 chest freezers and an upright. My wife has a chest freezer and an upright in California. When she comes up here, she's bringing those up here. So, yeah. But if we can get everything into jars and on the shelves, that takes a big load off us. I do have another smaller office type refrigerator stuff that if all I need to get put in the refrigerator is the leftovers from the night before we're going to eat the next day, the milk, the cheese, stuff we don't want frozen, stuff like that we don't want frozen. Oh, her cream cheese. Yeah. We got a small one, and I think that thing runs like on 65 watts. It's amazing. Of course, it's not frost free, so that's why it uses less electricity too. Let's go to the next one here. Now it's going to get crazy, folks. Now it's getting crazy. Your state. Is your state, and there's 2 parts of this. Is it just the grid that's out, or has there been some sort of plasma stream or EMP that has affected your state? And so there's, all the solar doesn't work, all the other stuff doesn't work. It's nothing electrical working in your state, or is it just the grid? So it's just the grid here in Idaho for me. And, you don't know it's going to be 3 months, but this is just, 3 months. Or if they know, they say, oh, yeah, we got generators coming. However, they're coming from Germany and they're back ordered. And it's going to be 3 months to 4 months before we get the grid back up in, for Idaho. So a little ridiculous considering the number of hydroelectric plants we have here in Idaho. But anyways, yeah, CR, you're definitely right on that. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people will not be going to work. And Utah Mike reduced his electric by upgrading his freezer. Yeah, my wife hates the expense, the monthly expense of running the upright freezer, but she hates losing everything in the chest freezer. Even though we got small chest freezers, she hates losing it. And they were down for a month. Okay. So and I'm trying to, if someone could remind me, the Great Northeast power outage that took out New England and parts of Canada. That was, I think that was just 72 hours as the majority of it, but some areas may have been a little bit longer. But it's something like that, but that's basically, that is the same as, Texas going out. It takes out the entire Northeast, same thing for Texas. But it's, for us now, there's no, all right, we're off milk. The only cheese we have is the cheese that's in the refrigerator, so we start limiting use of that. We have a lot of dry goods we can cook up on either the propane stove or the natural gas stove till the natural gas goes out. But if I'm not mistaken, the pump for Idaho, for southeast Idaho, for Intermountain Gas is actually in Utah. So long as it's Idaho that's out in Utah has power, we'll still have natural gas up here. Yeah. And Prepper 1013's there. I think that's Prepper 101. And he got stuck with a 3 on the end of his. Looking at the icon there. That becomes another problem. Does the if it's just the grid down, I know the sheriff's department down in Bingham County has a I'm in Bingham County, but down in Bingham County, the sheriff's department has a huge fuel tank next to the courthouse because the courthouse handles the court, Blackfoot Police Department, the sheriff's department, the DMV, the county clerk, voter registration. It covers a lot, all into one big building down there. I'm not sure if they have a second fuel tank in back. But if it's just if it's the state, it's going to be a lot of fuel trying to be trucked in. Law and order is going to be a problem because of the number of idiots are going to go, ooh, I can go take whatever I want. The cops aren't going to be doing anything. The cops are just going to be shooting people. I can guarantee you. The governor's going to say, give a looters are to be shot on sight. People breaking into other people's houses are to be shot on sight. So yeah, we were talking about this last night when they went to everybody's short name thing, unless you chose your full name like mine, or like Howie did on his, and Bushcraft Family did on theirs. Kayla, everyone gets down to short and numbers. So with this, the state, there's a whole another rotten batch of apples gets spilled on the floor. A lot of communications are going to be out. Some cell towers in certain areas, way out in the middle of nowhere, I have noticed they put up inside the fence around the base of the solar the cell tower. They've put up solar panels to power the cell towers. So if it's just the grid, the cell towers will still be working. Around here, around quote civilization towns and stuff, you're going to find that not so much, because we've got the grid here, we'll just tie into it real easy, and we're not worried about having backup generators and stuff for it. In California, in Concord, California, where the Bank of America's main data center is at, prior to Y2K, on top of the two tallest buildings on that campus, Building A and Building B, they had all sorts of cell towers up there that were covering a big wide area and stuff in Concord there. And they did not worry about having backup power to it, because the Bank of America data center had 5 locomotive engines on top of Building D with massive generators, any one of which could power the entire complex. And then a huge, massive 2 rooms in the basement of batteries, just batteries. And so basically everything came through a rectifier, charged the battery, came out of the batteries, went through an inverter, and powered the 5 buildings on campus. Now, for Y2K, they were taking out all the batteries, and they had another year left on them, but they wanted to make sure that they had fresh batteries in there, and they started taking out the batteries and stuff. And then on the weekends when none of the workers were there, it was like, okay, we're shutting everything down. Are you going to use the alternate data center to handle weekend transactions? And Bank of America is shutting down the main data center. And all of a sudden the mad scramble for the cell towers on top of the buildings to get extension cables to run 13 floors up and 9 floors in the other building, and put generators outside and have security guards there to watch the generators. And these aren't small generators, these are big towing generators to bring in, and they ran the big old huge massive cables all the way up up the stairwells. And it was rather hilarious, these guys trying to set it up, because they were told all of a sudden 4 days beforehand, they're freaking out. Oh, what do we do? What do we do? We told you 3 months ago we were doing this. But yeah. So that was became a problem there, but they got it handled. So communications in most places, what the solar companies did, they got permission later on to put panels on the roof of Building A and Building B to power their stuff during power outages. And MCI, Verizon, they all went together and got a joint power system put up there. So they all weren't putting separate panels on. They all went in on it and got it all set up with power stations and stuff on it. Okay. Lots of looting. Yeah. Vandalism. That's going to be going wild for the state. Water treatment. Yes. For those of you that have water treatment plants, yeah, it's an issue. Here, we're on well water out in the country. We test our water. Was it every 3 months? They take a sample test. Okay, it's good. And there's no water treatment, no fluoride added to our water, no chloramine or chlorine added to our water. But yeah, so that's when, for where, depending where you're at, you got to look into it, find out, does the water treatment plant have backup power? And if it's an all electronics out, an EMP, plasma stream, the other particle stuff that have been causing problems, like with the A380s that had problems the other day when Ben Davison was flying on one. They had problems. Kaylin knows what it is. She was following him on that. And if it's something like that, or an EMP that triggers and kills all electronics, all electrical stuff, yeah. The more stuff that goes offline, the worse it's going to be. But can you survive in your state? If the power's out for 3 months, can you just shelter in place, hunker down, and do you have enough candles to have power for 3 months? Do you have rechargeable battery? Like you can take those solar lights, charge the batteries up for your LED lanterns and everything else. Do you have enough? Do you have what, if it's just the grid down, can you keep your refrigerator working? Do you have blackout curtains? Because if you have solar, even if it's just partially, not enough to run the entire house normally, but it's enough to run your refrigerator, your freezer, and maybe a couple lights. Do you have blackout curtains to keep it so everybody doesn't go, they got power? As your solar panels visible to everybody too, which is one of the reasons why we haven't put it in yet. My wife wants to put it somewhere in the backyard where not everybody can see it, and it's not an eyesore from the curb. Of course, that doesn't stop some of the people that have big old systems set up that you can see from the street. So, ow. Had generators, but the rainstorm took them out. All right, so there's some of the things to think of for your situation. Hope you're taking notes on some of the ideas I'm throwing out of things for you to consider. All right, next one. Everywhere. So by everywhere, I mean, I would say, at least 75% of the United States surrounding you. You're in the middle of darkness. When it gets to be something this big, it probably was some sort of CME or heavy-duty plasma stream, just frying everything. But even if it's just the grid going down from the bad actors taking out come on, nodes. There's the power node distribution nodes, and so you have a domino effect. You got substations, catching on fire, destroying transformers, and others. Getting power surges taking out other ones. Yeah, whole 9 yards. So yeah, this becomes a borderline SHTF. Remember, for STHF and Tawaki, the government have to fail, and it's not. And if the federal government is still functioning, it's not quite there. But state government goes out, I said you're borderline there. But still, trying to get communications from the state to the federal is going to be interrupted. the federal's going to have all sorts of problems too, because not all of their buildings have backup power on it. So only the states that are still have power are going to be a thing. But if it is everywhere around the world, yeah, then it's not only is it SHTF, but I would be willing to bet if the power's out around the world, there's going to be a domino effect, and things are going to start breaking, falling apart before they get power back up to run refineries and everything else. There's going to be, people are going to evacuate cities. People are going to, heading for the all those prepper channels say head for the forest, head for the hills. Not this one. But, so there's going to be people that are seeing, and when some people start leaving, they're going to see the neighbors. The neighbors are leaving too. We better get out of here too. To quote Agent K, a person is smart. People are dumb, stupid, and ignorant. And so it could get worse really bad. Because you figure, all right, in 1 month, in 30 days of the power being out, what's going to happen in your city? What's going to happen to the industrial complex in your city, your county, your state? How many people in 30 days are going to die when it's everywhere? How many people in 60 days are going to die if it's everywhere? How many people in 90 days if it's everywhere? And I'm not trying to throw out fear porn here. I'm just trying to make you guys think. Think outside the box. Think of solutions for you. This is one of the reasons why I really want, when the wife comes up here and we sell the house in California, we'll get solar power put on both properties here. And we'll have backup, we'll have tri-fuel generator systems for both houses wired. And we're going to have redundancy. But CR says, if you save fuel to leave. Well, let's see. I've got 10 5-gallon gasoline cans. So that's 50 gallons. I can get halfway to California, or I can get halfway to Canada. Or actually, I can probably get all the way to Canada. Oh, they'll be crime in 24, especially if there, somebody puts out on the last leg of the power for the internet, or Facebook, or Instagram, or Twitter. It's going to be someone's going to put out, oh, I heard it's going to be out for 6 months. So I heard it's going to be out for 3 months. So I heard it's going to be out for a year. Yeah. As soon as that comes out, instantly people are going to go stupid. Jay's in the house. Hey, Jay. Yeah, we won't be able to get to Corsair's tent city there in California. But some of the things to think about is if they're going to be able to start bringing, getting power back up in 3 months, it's going to be not going to be everywhere in 3 months. It's going to be, all right, we get the government and the power companies are going to get this one fixed, and then that one fixed, and then this one over here, that one over here. We're going to try to connect them, and it's going to be, for some areas, it'll probably be 6 months without power. As they slowly get things brought back up and try to get people back to doing their jobs for taking care of the infrastructure. Yep, exactly. I know something that nobody has mentioned. They mentioned about water. No one mentioned about sewer. Do you live uphill from all the sewer? Does it flow downhill from you? Or are you on a flat area and it kind of flows downhill, it gets to a pumping station, and if they got to get pumped up down into the next section to flow a bit farther? Yeah. How it says, hide what you have, stay out of lineups, don't use the roads if you can. Yeah, how he will be in his cave, protecting it. Rural area. Now, here's the funny thing. When I say funny, I mean strange, not ha ha funny. Rural areas were over 2 months without power. How many of those rural areas had people out there did home canning, did had gardens, had generators for their property. Yeah. Yeah. I've mentioned this before, the house in California, before the first pumping station, it's about a 35-foot or more elevation difference between the house in California and the pumping station, and that's about a quarter mile away. There's a lot of manholes. And down by the pumping station there is a creek that flows away from us. Yeah, ball valve. Everything electric in the building. Yeah. That's why somebody in the chat here has a little stick stove, but also has a propane heater. Even though that person is not supposed to have propane in their apartment, they do. And I think give a thumbs up to that person. Yeah. Here where I'm at here, I'm the last house on the sewer line. My daughter across the street is the second to last house. It flows downhill from us to everybody else, to all the manholes to get to the sewer treatment plant. We're uphill from everybody. Okay, what do we got here? Because the garages, they don't have the manual releases to open the doors and stuff, and they're not going to stick somebody there so people can get in and out. Can't use the elevators. Yeah. 14th floor. That's a heck of a walk. But like my wife would say is, if we were on something like that, she goes, "We're walking up and down at least once a day to keep our stamina up so we can do it." Hey, welcome. Yeah, smart homes versus power outages. The great nuisances state of California with all the smart crap he's trying to put in there. Yeah, they're not going to do it. All right, Howie, take care. So 3 months. I wasn't, it's been 2 years since I did the 30-day one. I figured I was going to up it this time and do a 3-month one. So you can see the variables, as it goes. If it's just your neighborhood, your county, your state, everywhere. And I did too on the air everywhere. It could be just like 3/4 of the United States, or it could be the entire, or it could be everywhere. And if it's everywhere, it ain't going to be 3 months. I'm sorry. They may say, "Oh, it's going to be 3 months," but if it's more than one country, no, it's going to be longer. All right, Lee, take care. Have a good night. So, yeah, this is something to consider. My main purpose on this is to get you guys thinking. I hope you guys are taking notes on some of the possibilities. If not, you may want to watch it again tomorrow, during the day or something, start taking notes, especially some of the comments that other people were making in the side chat. You want to try to do things accordingly. Probably the biggest thing for power outages, I can say that's the cheapest for you to do. And we go ahead and just go. Oh, there we go. Canned meals ready to eat, or canned ingredients ready to eat. Tomato sauce, pasta sauce, canned chicken, canned beef, something you open out and use in another meal. Yeah. Think outside the box, people. Two variables: the people around you and what nature does. Still get rain, still get hot, still get cold. Exactly. So think about possibilities. If you start small, start simple. All right, power goes out for a week. What am I going to do? Get it so you can survive a week without power, without losing a bunch of food out of your fridge and freezer and stuff. My goal is try to get most of the stuff in the freezer in the jars, so I don't have to worry about so I can eliminate most of the freezer stuff. If you watched last night's live stream with Tammy and Mark, Chef Tech, I brought a package in of one thing we can't can. We can't can the spinach and cheese raviolis that are in the freezer. We can't can them. But we can learn how to make them fresh. So, try to get as much as you can into shelf-stable stuff. It's been 2 years since I canned this. This probably has another 7-8 years at least on the shelf, longer. Mark was talking about last night some stuff he was going through, stuff found out. He had some stuff canned back in 2013, I think it was, and something else he said 2007, I think it was. Almost 20 years. Well, my mom had half-gallon jars of pears that were 20 years old, and she'd used a lot of pectin on it, and they did not change color. They looked as good as the day she canned them. All right, everyone, so we're going to wrap it up here. Let me tell you quick what's coming up here. All right, let me bring that up over here. So, Thursday is the midnight ride here on Gray Man Prepping. Friday is we're going to be talking about too much electronics on farm equipment and how it can affect the small farmer and even the hobby farmer that just has a couple acres. Saturday, not sure which one that Shadow Scout's going to be doing from 2 to 6 Eastern time, but I'll be on that one unless the staff sergeant comes in and kicks me off. At 8 o'clock Eastern, it will be Survival Saturday Topic is after Pangea reforms. Another one he's one to laugh at, and we're going to poke fun at it. And that Monday on Camp Patton Family Compound is what is flat sour, deals with canning and stuff. And then next Tuesday here, we're getting into the holiday spirit. The topic here next Tuesday is your favorite adult, not X-rated, your favorite adult movie, such as The Fat Man, Die Hard, Violent Night, Red One, Christmas ones that are not for the little kids, but that are for the little kids and us adults. And so that's what's coming up next Tuesday. All right, everyone. Stay fit, stay safe. Don't go out and do anything foolish. Stay happy. Don't let life get you down. Keep adding to your preps: water, food, medicine, clothing. Learning a new skill every month. And I will see you Thursday for the Midnight Ride. Take care.